welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use reference fields inside of Webflow to create data-rich profile pages. Plus, I'll show you how to automate the process inside of Zapier. Let's get into it. What's going on, friends? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Connor. I'm the founder of the Unicorn Factory, a freelancer marketplace in New Zealand. On this channel, I teach people who cannot code how to build their own online marketplaces and directories using tools like Webflow, Airtable, and Zapier. If you're thinking about setting up your own online business but you don't know how to code, then subscribe to the channel. I make a whole bunch of videos and tutorials on how to get started with no-code tools, and I would love to help you get your platform up and running. Today's video is going to be a follow-up from my freelancer onboarding system video that I posted a few weeks ago, and I'm specifically going to show you how you can connect different collection items inside of Webflow to create data-rich profile pages for your freelancers or whatever suppliers you are using on your marketplace. So let's just kick it off by checking out an example on the Unicorn Factory. Cool, so let's start off by checking out my profile page, and I want to quickly show you what I mean by reference links. So as you can see, every freelancer has a major category that they're part of, for example, marketing, software development, design, or consulting. They are also associated with a city. Then a freelancer is also associated with a bunch of case studies, and they are also related to a bunch of services that they offer. So the way that it works inside of Webflow is that you can associate different collection items like locations, categories, or freelancers with each other to create a data-rich user experience where they can navigate easily between different pages. An example is if I click on Wellington, it will show me all the Wellington freelancers, and from there I can navigate back to my page. And what that does is it allows you to create a really good, easy to use website for your clients. Now, there are two types of relationships that collections can have with each other inside of Webflow. So first of all, you have single reference relationships where one profile relates to one city, but you can also have multi-reference relationships where one profile can relate to multiple case studies or multiple skills. So I'm going to show you how you have to set up the backend inside of Webflow for both single and multi-reference items. And then I'm going to show you how you can automate the process inside of Zapier for single reference items. So if we jump into the Webflow CMS and check out the profiles collection, we can see down here that we've got a whole bunch of fields that are linking to other collections inside of Webflow. The first example is the city reference, which relates to the cities collection inside of Webflow. If I click into the cities collection inside of Webflow, you can see all the different cities that I have on the Unicorn Factory. Then I can use this reference field to pick the city that is associated with my profile. The same theory applies to the expert reference, which references what category of freelancer one is. And then below we can see a multi-reference list, which references all the different skills and services that a freelancer offers. Now, reference fields are not to be mistaken with drop-down fields. The main difference between drop-down fields and reference fields is that drop-down fields don't have their own standalone page inside of Webflow. And the reason why I make things like cities or skills their own reference field is because it is better for SEO, because people search for things like freelancers Wellington or Facebook marketing freelancers. But very rarely will they look for something like freelancers with medium availability. So now in order to set up a reference link, all you need to do is click on the cog for the collection item that you want to affect, add a new field, and then select reference or multi-reference. And then from there, all you need to do is select the appropriate collection field that you want to connect. Now, I can't do it at the moment because I'm at the maximum limit of the amount of fields and reference collections that I can use, but it's very straightforward and intuitive connecting the two with each other. Once you've connected them to each other, you'll be able to select whatever dropdown is inside of that collection list. And with multi-reference fields, you'll be able to see them here as well. Reference fields are really good for two reasons. Number one, it improves the user experience significantly when users can just click between different pages and navigate their way around the website that way, but it also has significant SEO benefits. So next I'm going to show you how you can automate the process of adding collection items items to a particular profile. Now, there are two different methods doing it for single reference collection items and multi-reference collection items. Today I'm just going to focus on the single reference collection items because the multi-reference items is quite a bit more advanced and takes a bit of extra time. So just for the sake of keeping this video within a consumable time limit, I will just focus on that one first, but I'll be making the multi-reference automation video in the future. So this automation workflow is going to be a follow-up from my freelance onboarding system. So if you haven't checked out that video yet, pause the video, check that video out, and it will add a lot more context to how the automation works. It basically gives you the breakdown of all the steps that I'm going to be showing you now. So now we're back inside of Zapier and we are in step 3 where we create the live item in Webflow. Again, just a reminder, this is a follow-up from my freelance onboarding system. So if you're wondering what happens in step 1 and 2, check out the video. But what we can see here is we have all of our different fields. Now, one thing that I want to point out straight away is we have something here called the city ref. And the city ref is our reference item that connects to the location page. Down here, we also have the expert ref, and that is our reference field that relates directly to the expert category. So now when we check out the city reference field, we can actually see that it doesn't say Wellington, but that there is a string, which is the Webflow item ID for that particular location. If we again compare it to how drop-downs work, with the drop-downs, you can actually just use the text. So for example, senior, or in this case, the availability being high. You can actually just type in high or senior and that will work. But if you try to do the same thing with reference links, it will show an error inside of Zapier and it won't work. So it is super important that you use the Webflow item ID of the reference item that you are trying to connect to this profile. So the way that you find the reference item is when a user signs up through Airtable and selects their city in the dropdown, you can actually use a lookup field to see what Webflow item ID is associated with this particular record inside of Airtable. If I jump over to Airtable and I have a look at the city list, you can see that I actually have a column called Webflow item ID or Webflow ID that references that item ID as it currently is inside of Webflow. Now, I do this when I add a city for the first time. I have an automation process that runs, that adds the city and then automatically updates the Airtable record with the Webflow item ID, so that then when freelancers sign up and select their city, I can automatically pull up that Webflow item ID for the city and then just add it inside of here in the freelancer onboarding system. And that, my friends, is why you should be using Airtable as your main database. So when users sign up in the future, you can use lookup fields to see what Webflow item ID is related to different reference fields. And this is the one thing that I see a lot of people not doing. And as you start to scale and grow your platform, you run into difficulties with exactly this. So be sure that you always have the Webflow item ID for different references inside of Airtable. Now, I know that a lot of you are itching to see how the multi-reference automation works, and I promise it is coming. It is, however, a lot more complicated because you can't actually do it with the native Webflow Zapier app. But I am planning on releasing it this year, and it will be a follow-up from this video. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, then please subscribe. Also, be sure to like this video because any support is really fantastic. Other than that, I hope you found this video useful. Good luck setting up your own reference fields inside of Webflow, and I'll see you back here for the next one.